Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you are refreshed and you are a bit feeling forward or looking forward rather to actually answering these questions with me. I hope the very first question we did was like an eye-opener of what we are going to try and do. This one is particularly going to be very interesting, the question we are going to do now, because I want you to really pay close attention. I'm going to try use a timeline for you to be able to see how to analyze this question. So please try and be with me here. Then wherever you do not understand, just quickly write it down so you can always go back to it when you are trying to study again on your own. So the question that we now have to do says, Selby decided today that he will save 12,000 per quarter, right? Over the next 4 years, right? So not for that way, the next 4 years. He will make the first deposit into a savings account in 3 months' time, and he will make his last deposit at the end of 4 years from now. So you can see what this simply means is, if I'm going to consider this as a 4-year period, this is going to be T0, right? T0 will be when he makes the deposit, right? And it will go up until it gets to the 4 years. But in terms of the 4 years, it's going to be divided into quarters, right? The ones that will make each year. So this will be T1. So that will be the end of the first year. So the first deposit will be there after the 3 months, second deposit, third deposit. So you're not cutting any deposit. It just simply tells you that this person will make, which is Selby, will make the payments on a quarterly basis for a period of 4 years. Now, what I want you to do, or what we are required to do, is how much will then Selby have at the end of 4 years if interest is earned at 8.8 per annum compounded quarterly. So what I want you also to understand about this question is there is no way that this person will be making quarterly payments, but the interest is charged on a monthly basis. Really, that at times that does not really make sense. Even the financial institutions themselves will not really grant something of that sort. So it's always going to be, if it's quarterly basis, then it's on a quarterly basis. The interest itself is charged on a quarterly basis because your payments are quarterly. If your payments are monthly, the interest is normally going to also be given to you on a monthly basis. So please just try and link those two at all times when trying to do this. Now, to look at our data, we know that Selby is making payments of 12,000, and this is for 4 years, but in 4 years, we know each year has 4 quarters, so that makes it 16 quarters, and then 8.8% compounded quarterly will be the same as 0.088 over 4. Now, I will need to substitute this in the future value formula, which is F is equals to X into 1 plus I to the exponent of n minus 1, all of this divided by I. Please make sure you start by writing the formula before substituting anything. Therefore, this becomes 12,000 into 1 plus, my I here is 0.088 over 4, all raised to the exponent of 16 minus 1 divided by 0.088 over 4. You are more than welcome to write 4 multiplied by 4 there instead of 16. That really means one and the same thing. Now, on my calculator, this will be 12,000. Open those brackets. 1 plus 0.088 over 4 raised to the exponent of 16 minus 1, close the bracket, over 0.088 over 4. And then this will be 227,000. So this will be 227,000, 17782. 177.82. So therefore, Selby will have 2,000. Now I'm thinking 1,000. So this will be 227,177.82 cents. And that's how much Selby will have at the end of the 4 years. Now from there, same statement, but now Selby decides to withdraw 100,000 from the account at the end of 3 years. From now, right? How much will he then now have in the account at the end of 4 years? So I want us to try and paint this idea on a number line, right? So there are payments of 12,000 that Selby is making into this, and the payments are going to last for 4 years, right? So it means this is gaining interest for 4 years, right? And the interest that it is gaining was 8.8%, 8.8%, right? Now, what I want, there's 2 ways to do this. You can find what the outstanding balance is at the end of 3 years, subtract the 100,000, and then calculate the interest it will gain for 1 year. But that is a long process. Instead, you will consider this as an investment of 100,000 here, right? Which will be for a year. So you get how much this would have gained if it was being invested for a year. And then from here, you will then say, let's call this one A, let me call this one B. Then for you to know how much Selby will have, you will then say A minus B. Why are you doing this? Because the A is to say, Selby was keeping the investment as is for the 4 years. But now there's 100,000 that needs to be withdrawn from this particular investment. So instead of us withdrawing it as 100,000, let's first get how much interest this would have gained so that we can subtract it at the end instead of subtracting it there from T3, because that makes it a bit of a long calculation, right? So this means that the 100,000 is only invested using compound interest, because this is a once-off amount that we are trying to find how much it is going to gain interest for. And this is kept there for 1 year, which is 4 quarters, because it is compounded quarterly, and the interest is still the same interest, right? So instead of him really withdrawing, we're saying, no, he's keeping it the same way as is, but he wants to withdraw at the end to say, how much would I really have if my idea was to say, concurrently, there's 100,000 that is being saved for that particular 1 year. So as a result, this will then be A is equals to P into 1 plus I raised to the exponent of N. I know that my P will be the 100,000, 1 plus, and then my I will be the same interest as what I have, 0.088 divided by 4. And all of this will be raised to the exponent of 1 multiplied by 4. I think with this one, for it to make sense to you, please try to write it as 1 multiplied by 4, because if you just write it as 4, it might confuse you that you're still thinking of the 4 years instead of the 4 quarters for a year. And then we want to find how much this is going to be. To do that, it's going to be 100,000, open a bracket. My zeros are enough, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And 1 plus 0.088 divided by 4, because this is being distributed on a quarterly basis, and my exponent is 4 there. This is going to give me 109,094 rand, right? So 109,094 rands, and how many cents this is? cents is 68. This will be 68 cents, right? Now, for us to find how much the cell B will have, so cell B will have, right? And then you will say the future value minus the A that we just got here, and that will give us how much cell B will have. So let's quickly go back and write down what value we got for the future value. It was 227,177, right? So this was 227,177 and 82 cents, right? This is 82 cents. Then from there, you're going to subtract the 109,094,68. And then you will then find how much that is. And to do that, I will just say minus 227,177.82. It's going to give me a negative. It's just because I started with a small number, right? But it's really one and the same thing. And this is going to be 118,083 rands. 118,083 rands. And how many cents? And 14 cents. Right? So now let's understand what this simply means. Instead of us subtracting this 100,000 at T3, which I'm going to try and show you quickly how to do that, we are instead saying, what if we said this 100,000, we want to find how much it would have accumulated for 1 year, and then subtract that from what the 12,000 that is being paid on a quarterly basis would have accumulated to at the end of the 4 years, instead of using T3, T4, and all of that. So please just understand that. I hope that makes sense. It's just one of those questions that need you to know what the timeline of the question is. Is the money going out? Is the money coming in? Meaning, are we depositing or withdrawing? And then you show that in terms of a timeline. So if we were to find the outstanding balance, this is what we would do. Right? So firstly, what you would do is you would say the first calculation will be 12,000 for 3 years, right? So you'd find that, and this is at 8.8%, right? So I will then say F is equals to 12,000 into 1 plus 0.088 all over 4 to the exponent of 3 multiplied by 4 minus 1 divided by 0.088 over 4. And then you will find what that answer is. And then number 2, we will say F minus 100,000. Right? That's the withdrawal that we are talking about, right? That shall be made into this particular, that he made from this investment. And then lastly, you will then say A, not A even, it's still future value. You will say future value because it's still on a month-to-month basis. And this will be 12,000, right? And this 12,000, you will need to understand how much this is gaining for 1 year. I to the exponent of 1 multiplied by 4 minus 1 divided by I, and then add this to the balance that you got here if you compound it per month, for a year. So do you see, this is a very long question, but the short way of doing this, as I said, you just need to try and do that one there, where you compound the 100,000 for a year, subtract it from the future value that he would have got in 4 years' time, and that gives you the balance that he will have at the end of the investment. And that's definitely what you needed to do with this particular question. All right, guys, that's it from me for now. I want us to take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we're going to be then doing some more questions on revising financial maths. Please stay tuned and take a walk, drink some water, come back refreshed. I'll be back just now.